Dear students, let us start the discussion on today's newspaper, that is on Saturday 25th, sorry, it is 24th September 2016. The first article is related to the India's reaction at the UN General Assembly for the speech of Prime Minister of Pakistan, Mr. Nawaz Sharif. Now let us see this way. The Pakistan always tried to internationalize the issue of Kashmir, and Indian diplomats have from time to time tried to keep the Kashmir issue within the folds of India, or it has purely regarded the issue as bilateral, and the Shimla agreement shall be the spirit of solving the Kashmir issue. And Pakistan is trying to bring into the front of the world the human rights violations. In this context, Pakistani president this time, he has used the word intifada, an uprising. So in this is generally used in the case of Palestine. So with regard to its first intifada, second intifada, etc. So it has been seen as an uprising in the case of the Kashmir. And the second thing, India has replied to it clearly saying that the land of Takshila has become an Ivy League of terrorism now. And second is, with regard to the Pakistan objecting to India's entry into nuclear suppliers group. Pakistan's very record of nuclear proliferation is with deception and it is dubious. So in this context, it has no right to talk about India's entry into NSG. Another thing India tried to answer is Pakistan projecting Mr. Burhan Wani of Hizbul as a leader, an young leader. So it shows that Hizbul Buzahuddin and these are the terrorist organizations which are internationally acknowledged. So for these persons belonging to these organizations are hailed as young leaders by the Pakistani leader, shows that it's a sponsor of the state terrorism. Now, India gave a befitting reply. But beyond this, if you see, India, by responding to the noise made by the Pakistan, so it is becoming, the Kashmiri issue becoming unnecessarily internationalized. So Ban Ki-moon though did not take the Kashmir issue and it has left it to be a bilateral issue between India and Pakistan. So India's response has further intensified the issue of the Kashmir on the halls of the UN General Assembly. So that's what this author tries to talk about. Now coming to India-EU relationships. So India is a strategic partner to the European Union. But however, free trade agreement was not signed between these countries. What are the reasons? One is, there is an anomaly over here. India has the strong trade with Germany, France, UK, and now UK is out of the EU. But in spite of India having the strong trade relations with most of the European Union countries, it do not enjoy a free trade agreement with the European Union. One of the reasons is, they want to ease the tariff lines on automobile sector and also on the spirits and wines. And what the India is expecting is a liberal import of mangoes and the services, pharmaceuticals, and also India is expecting a data secure nation status which allows it to boost its service sector, especially the information technology exports to the European Union. But however, India is not been provided with data secure nation status by the European Union. These are the irritants. Now coming to caste and the role of the caste. Now, Shiva Sena in Maharashtra, PMK in Tamil Nadu, they are demanding for the amendment or removal of the Prevention of Atrocities Act. Now, why such an argument comes up? What is the constitutional, legal and the social status of the caste in India? Now, if you take the constitutional status, constitution is a grand document which proposes for equality. So, it has explicitly taken away the caste system as against to the equality. From Article 15 to 18, it talks about one or the other way, elimination of the caste system in the country. Now, coming to the society, so there is a conflict between the values the constitution is trying to bring into the society and the societal practices. Now there is a sense of impunity for the practice of the caste which is flowing from the caste hierarchies and the sanction from the ancient world text, this caste hierarchies. So in this scenario, some people argue that the caste hierarchies are essential for an occupational structure in the society. It's a division of labor. In this case, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar has clearly stated that it is not the division of labor, but it is the division of laborers. And occupational structure has no mobility. It is a fixed, rigid occupational structure. And there is no dignity for the work in this occupational structure for the lower caste. And as reservations, etc., they are providing for a kind of an upward social mobility for the weaker sections and disadvantaged. Now, there is a simultaneous growth of the caste violence in the country. What is the reason? So now, upper caste and lower caste, upper caste believe there is a kind of a social distance between them and the lower caste. As there is an upliftment of the lower caste as they started becoming a bit assertive. So the upper caste believe that the distance is getting reduced. So because of this, there is a sense of loss for the upper caste. From this flows the atrocities against the Dalits. So in this context, what the state is doing, obviously state has an obligation to uphold the constitution. But however, the people running the state, they flow from the society itself through its political system. So in those circumstances, the state, one way appears to be committed to the elimination of the caste system, the other way it uses the caste system for its elections and voting, vote bank politics. So in this scenario today, to what extent is it appropriate to repeal these particular laws, SC/ST Prevention of Atrocities Act? So the first thing is, if a law has to be misused or if a law to be proved as getting misused, so there has to be a clear proof against that. And every law can be prone to misuse. So the potential for misuse is different and the real misuse is different. So if a law is really getting misused, a statistical documentation is necessary. And the second thing is, Dalits going to the police station and getting an FIR registered, it has a very little chance. And also, the conviction rates on the SC/ST Prevention of Atrocities cases are very less in the country. So in these circumstances, so these laws are not doing a great harm in the society, and it is just a perception that these laws are doing the harm. And as the Dalits are becoming a bit assertive, the sense of loss of social justice is leading to these demands. Now coming to Ganga freshwater dolphins, gangetic dolphins. Now, inland waterways are being developed. So the first waterway is between Allahabad and Haldia on Ganga. And now, Ganga and Brahmaputra are the two rivers that possess these river and dolphins. River dolphins, they do not consist of the eyes. So they communicate with each other and navigate through a voice, through biosensors. So the reflection of the voice which they get, so through that they navigate. But however, the eyes have rods and cones, that's why they can differentiate day and night. Now, if the ships are moving in their habitat, obviously they will not be in a position to properly use their biosensors. And the habitat destruction is going to endanger already endangered species. Another thing is, the breeding nests, everything are getting destroyed because of the dredging which is undertaken to increase the size of these particular river stretch for the navigation. So in this case, the river water dolphins, endangered species, have to be protected. So their habitats have to be kept away from this. Now, Rafale aircrafts. So the Rafale jets, it is the largest defense deal India has signed with any country till date. India and France, they agreed for a ready flyby Rafale 36 Rafale jets to be transferred to India. So in this scenario, the Rafale jets are most modern fighter jets which are used for air defense, in-depth strikes, reconnaissance, anti-ship strikes and nuclear deterrence. This term nuclear deterrence is very important to India because India till date is using the Mirage crafts to launch the nuclear attack. But however, the nuclear missiles now they can be shifted onto the Rafale crafts and can be transferred if necessary. And it also has the missiles which are beyond visual range air-to-air missiles, which can help for striking without invading into the other country. Now, dengue vaccine. So as of now, India did not produce any vaccine for the vector-borne diseases. So this is the first time India is producing a vaccine for the vector-borne diseases. And the another infectious disease, India produced the rotavac vaccine, which has saved the lives of the millions of the children. So the dengue vaccine, which is about to be produced by Sun Pharma along with International Center for Genetic Engineering and Biotechnology, New Delhi, will also produce the millions of the lives across the world. Now, the citizenship bill. So the citizenship bill, it provides for the minorities from the Pakistan, Bangladesh and Afghanistan to come to India, and if they live in India without any proper documentation too, then automatically the government considers them for citizenship. Understand? Minorities, religious minorities from these three countries, if they are living in India without any proper documentation too, then also they can be considered for the citizenship according to this law. Now, it is been said to be discriminatory because it is not talking about the people, victims of persecution, but it is talking about religious minorities. For example, if you take in Pakistan, Ahmadiyas are also the victims of persecution. But these people cannot enter into India as they are Muslims still. So now the government has used a new word. In the place of the religious minorities, it is using discriminated religious minorities as a term in amending the Citizenship Act. These are the topics for today. Thank you very much.